think it's happening. Hi, I am Lainey
Hi.
Davis, and I am here with narrator Carly Robins to talk about everything that she does to bring our books to our ears. Carly, what is your favorite snack? I know you love to bake.
Oh, oof. God, that's like asking. I didn't know that was going to be the first question. I love a snack. Okay, let's see. First of all, I love a potato in any form, so a potato chip is like just just another evolution of that. So
I've been doing tater tots.
I love a tater tot. I love a
Yeah,
tater tot. I love a hash brown. I love a latke. I
yeah.
love I love pretty much a potato in any form. There's really not a form of potato that I don't love, except maybe like if we're going like low on the tier, maybe like an au gratin or something, because then it's like the cheese is the star, not really the potato. And I'm
Mhm.
really into like the potato. Okay, so I definitely like a chip. I'm not a real candy person, so that's not going to be my snack. So it's definitely going to be a salty, savory kind of something. I got to think about like what's my favorite. Oh my
Okay.
God.
Well, to
I
bring
may have
it,
to come back to that. I like a
yeah,
peanut butter pretzel, like a Trader Joe's peanut butter filled pretzel. That's a
yeah, the
really
nuggets.
good one. Yeah, those are, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well, so to sort of bring it back around to
Yes.
your work, are there any snacks or foods that you avoid because of what it does to your mouth and voice?
So many.
Oh,
First of all, yes, I can't do like a lot of like high fiber things. I know
right.
that sounds so personal. Yeah, because your stomach to digest it is like,
Oh, does it
"Oh, pew, blah, blah, blah." It just like, or at least mine is. It's like
right.
a bloom of noises. It's so inappropriate. And sometimes, so most of the work that I do it from my home studio, which I'm in right now.
Oh, okay. I would love to
I can kind of, you can see.
oh, it's very tall.
Yeah, it's very tall. It was actually like a walk-in closet that we outfitted because either you get a booth or you sort of have to do, which can like take up the entire room. Or this happened to be a really great sized closet. And so then I just basically added like additional soundproofing to the walls, like sheetrock and other things, and these beautiful panels. And then we had to, the roof is so tall that I had to put in like that thing so that the sound would vibrate better.
So
And
like
then, oh, sorry, I
70s,
pressed the, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
like a 70s drop ceiling kind of.
Totally.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
I should have done like a 70s vibe. Instead, I went modern with like grays and blues and cool tones. I should have done like some shag or something. And then back here, I have actually, so back in the day, Tantor, that's one of the production houses that a lot of us narrators get cast from, they used to send you a CD of your titles. And so I
Oh,
started working for them years and years and years ago. So I've got like 100 CDs back there that I think I might just maybe give away or throw out. Who uses a CD anymore? Anyway, it's taking up space. I don't know. So anyway, I've got to figure out what to do with them. That's them right there. I could show you. Um,
look at all that.
you can sort of see. And then I have like another one, but they wind up not being great for sound. So I have to put some foam right in that section for whatever reason. The CDs were doing
Like,
like a weird sound something.
that's so
I don't know
interesting.
why. I know. So anyway, so what I was going to say to wrap it up is like sometimes you get to go in studio and have an engineer or a director or something, and it's always super embarrassing about the noises that your body makes because you're like, I'm so sorry, I don't know you, stranger. We're about to get super intimate, and you're about to hear what my stomach sounds like when I eat a salad or like something like that. Yeah. I can't do things like anything I would say in general that is like a person walking through life that makes you like burp or you taste like I can't really do garlic or onions anymore like I used to when I was younger. And definitely cannot do those when I'm narrating. I don't have the issue of milk like or dairy things that a lot of people do. But I do like a lemon water. That works for me. Acid always works to help my mouth. No, it's super embarrassing because you're like, oh my God, my body is making noises. I've never been so intimately like involved with my
Right.
body. Yeah.
Wow. I just
And I
hadn't
wear the
con
same and I wear the same three outfits every day. I have a whole wardrobe of clothing that I'm like, I haven't worn that in years because too many things that are too flowy, it's gonna make like a swishing sound, or if like the fabric is gonna be weird, or also you get like really warm in your booth, and so you want to wear things that are like cool to cool you off kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I
I
also
noticed
like,
you're wearing a
yeah,
tank top right now,
always.
and
I always wear a tank top. Always, even in the winter. Yeah,
I just
it's
had
just
no
like
idea.
super I know. How would you? Why would you? You wouldn't.
You're
And
pulling
so
back
it's
the
like
veil.
I know. So then I come out of the booth and I'm like, there's like a world outside and people look so nice and put together. And they're like on their way to an office or somewhere to meet a friend, and they've got like their hair done and they're wearing like an outfit. And I'm like, what are those things you're wearing? That's not workout pants and a tank top. Those are
Uh,
clothes, right?
yeah.
Clothes. Yes. It's super strange. Yeah.
I mean, I get the outfit to some extent, but
Yeah.
nobody can usually ever see or hear me, so it
Yes,
doesn't.
exactly. So it's the other things like the sounds your body makes, or like the clothes that you're wearing, or the foods that you're eating. It all goes into, because here's the thing, and this is where we're going to get a little like business talk.
Okay.
There's only so many hours in the day. I can only narrate for so many hours, and I only get paid for the length of the book. So if it's a 10-hour book, I only get paid for the 10 hours. So if it takes me 20 hours or 30 hours to narrate that book, that's just my own, that's an extra 20 hours of personal time that I've devoted. So the more efficient I can be with my time, the better I am at my job. So like how long I can go before I have to swallow. How
Mhm.
long can I go, right, before I have to take a sip of water? How long can I go before I have to go to the bathroom? How
Yeah.
long can I go to, like, take a break to do anything? Or because every time that I'm stopping to take a break, that's like an extra second docked of time or 2 seconds, and, for a 10-hour book, that winds that adds up. And then so if you're doing something like the outfit that you're wearing or the food that you ate is just gonna slow you down that much more, it's just gonna take you that much longer.
This
I
is
know. Why would you ever know that? It's fascinating and so bizarre. I say this all the time, but like everybody's like, "Oh, it's like you get on a microphone, like no big deal." But surprisingly, it is a highly technical medium. And by technical, I mean like it's not just acting for a microphone, which is its own world, right? And you feel like you've got to do your Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours to even feel like you're, sort of starting to understand it. Because there's an intimacy to it. It's just your voice. It's all the emotion that you're trying to get in the voice, and like our the business of audiobooks has, changed so much. It used to be they would only do like 20 books a year. They would be on tapes, and it would be like 1,000 tapes before they still do like 1,000 CDs. I look back there's like 10 CDs. I'm like, CDs can hold a lot more time than like 20 minutes, but whatever. Um, so they do all the right, and so it was super expensive just because of the packaging and everything itself. And those would be like $50 or $100. Now audiobooks are still expensive because there is so much that goes into the production, but it's not what it used to be. And then they would only do like huge bestsellers like a James Patterson or a Stephen King. And then they would do like a very straight, I would say like a voice of God. That's the sort of term that they would use read. So it definitely be an older male, right? Because they're historically the voice of reason, and that's what they do for like documentaries, for war
Mhm.
films, for movie trailers, right? It's always that male voice that somehow, our society has sort of like fallen into. That's the voice of, taking us of authority and sort of teaching us and taking us along for safety and security, that kind of thing. So that's what they used to do. But audiobooks have evolved so much, especially now that so many writers write, knowing it's also going to be made into audio, because it doesn't always translate as well. A great book doesn't always translate to be a great listening experience. And that's, of course, my job to try and elevate it. But I think a lot of authors now are taking that into consideration when they're writing out their text messaging scenes, or they're writing out how many times they say he said or she said,
Yeah.
or sometimes they just leave that off, right? Because that used to be how you did it, but you don't have to necessarily do that anymore if you know you're going to want to put it into audio. So small things like that. So the medium kind of has evolved, and then things have gotten more. People want to hear the emotion behind it. When I first started, and I was performing audiobooks like I would a stage play, um, I definitely was in the minority, and a lot of the feedback I
Mm,
got was, "She's too emotional, like, I just want a straight read," or, that kind of thing, and I just felt like, "No, this is where I see the medium going. I'm gonna stick to my style. I'm gonna get better at it, but we're here for the emotion, and we wanna live in it." And, it's interesting, but, like, as more people started to get smartphones and started listening to podcasts and
yep,
started having these more, like, you got AirPods, like I'm wearing right now, this
yep.
more intimate experience of hearing voices in your head, I think it opened people up and normalized for everyone what it was like to have somebody tell you a story in your ears, because I think it was like a medium people weren't used to. And so I think all of that has kind of evolved along with it. So, like, you want the emotion, you want those kinds of things. And so I can only do that so many hours a day, which means I
Uh-huh.
only can sort of devote my time to, and energy to that. And so what I eat, what I wear, the kind of like exercise I do vocally and rest time and all that stuff plays into it. It's like I'm an athlete for my
Yeah,
voice.
you totally are an
Yeah,
athlete.
sorry. That was a very roundabout,
No, I love it.
involved answer. Okay, fabulous. Okay, fabulous.
Do you know about, like, how many books you've narrated in your career?
It's a lot. So Audible used to, when you would search my name, they would give you all my titles under my name, Carly, and then also my alt name, CJ Bloom, which I'm not secret about. So this isn't like a reveal. But when I first started, they said, "Oh, you have to have one because you do other voiceover work, and nobody's going to hire you." And you know, romance is constantly shunned as being for women only, or it's frivolous, or it's, I don't know, put in your word there, and it angers us, frankly, because everybody's in love.
Yeah.
Everybody was born. Somehow they were born. I'm not sure how. And so we all come from that, and we all want that. And so to deny a conversation or to expect that people would like to hear stories about that just like boggles my mind, that it's still disparaged. But um, I did it and came up with another name, but I probably narrate equally romance under both names. I just let the author choose. If they want a CJ Bloom title, have at it. If they want a Carly Robbins title, have at it. I'm not particular. But so what used to happen is you could type my name into Audible and it would give you all my titles. Now it just says over 500. I think
Wow.
I'm close to, oh yeah, I think I'm close to 900 titles total,
Wow. I mean, you've
because
done so
they
much for
just changed
me.
so
Yeah,
many. I know, I know. Well, I did a whole series, so yeah, I
yeah.
know. It's incredible. I've been doing this since about 2013. And so in the early years, as I'm trying to build up my titles and that stuff, I probably did less, but on average, I do about 120-ish titles a year. So like 10 books a month, approximately.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I love
it's
it.
incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and you know, I hope it's not, like, annoying. Every time I pick up an amazing book and I'm listening, I'm like, "That's Carly Robbins again." Oh, your image disappeared. But, I mean,
Sorry.
I'm still
Somebody called me. You turned off your phone. I
yeah.
think I got a spam call. So ask
Oh,
me your question again, because it went to my iPad, which is what I'm
oh,
talking to you on, and then it like blacked out the screen. So I'm so sorry. Ask me your question again, or whatever you were
it's
just saying, because I missed it.
yeah, it's not a question, it's a gush. I was just
Oh,
saying,
oh, oh, oh. Okay, then even
you know,
more. Tell me more.
I keep DMing you on Instagram every time that I listen to a book, and I'm like, "Oh my god, it's Carly again," like Anne of Manhattan, the Anne of Green Gables retelling, and it was
Oh,
you in there. It was
I
amazing.
know. I was so grateful to get that title. Oh my goodness, who does not love Anne of Green Gables, right?
I
And
don't
then
know.
this was like the perfect, I don't know anybody. And if you don't, then there's something wrong with you. Um, I I when I got the title, I don't think I even knew when I was cast what it was, and then you get this script. Like, sometimes you just get, like, an audition portion or something. Sometimes they don't even tell you the author. Sometimes you're just given very little information. You're given, like, "This is the title, we'd like you to audition," kind of thing, and I'm always like, "Sure." And so this one, I think when I got it, I was like, "What?" And then when I read it, I was like, "What?" Because it is the best fanfic that you want, because it's all of the bells and whistles of what makes Anne, Anne, but, like, modern and in Manhattan and, like, still all the best parts, and they communicate a little bit better, so there's not as much, like, you know,
Yeah,
childhood drama, right? Because they were adults in this one. So anyway, it was beautiful.
it was
I get a lot of compliments on that title, so thank you for saying that. I know
yeah.
it's because it's so many people love it. Yeah.
Well, how do you prepare for a book? Do you read the whole thing first? Do you narrate as you go? Like, what's your process?
Fair question. I would say my process has changed so much over time. I and to be quite honest, I used to for every book, like, do a deep dive. I assigned, like, colors and songs and things and all sorts of whatever to get into, like, mood and to make sure that I chose my voice right, and I don't have time for that now, so to be quite honest, and frankly, I don't need that much prep, and in fact, I find if I do too much prep, I get it's harder for me to break out of an idea of how I think it should go rather than from the moment I start the first sentence, I'm in the story along with my listener. So if I'm in it and I'm present and I'm open as an actor to going where the story is going to take me or the scene is going to take me, that's my job is to be present and open. So it's almost as if every time I do it, it's different or a little bit different. There's shades of things that are the essence of it. And so I find that if I prepare too much now, I don't have that same spontaneity feel to it. Um, but that being said, I do enough to feel like I've got a confident understanding about where I am, the place, the time, the tone, um, pronunciations. That's really like a big one. Accents, things that, could really mess you up later if you're like on page 900 out of a
Yeah.
thousand book and they're like, oh, and he had a Russian
Right.
accent. And you're
Yeah.
like,
Shoot.
I wish I'd known that. And frankly, shame on you because you should have written that because then as the listener, you didn't know that until the end, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
do you? Because I know, I mean, you've done 6 of my books. Do
Yes.
you, like, make files? Because you do different voices for the different
Voices. So
people.
I do. I have a setup, and I think everybody is different for how they do this, but I like to have 3 files up on my screen as I'm performing. I do the file I could actually show you. Can I show you? You can see I use a software called Twisted Wave. This is the
Oh,
book I'm doing right at this moment. So you can see there's 3 separate files. I have the file of what I'm recording, that's the chapter. The one underneath that are characters or pronunciations, so I can have a quick reference. So if I come up with a new character, sometimes I'll do a search and find out if that character makes it back in the story later, if I've forgotten who they are, because sometimes that happens. And if they come up later, I want to make sure that they're not like a throwaway character that you're going to forget or something like that. Sometimes I don't know if they come back in another book. So sometimes you don't want to make like a choice that's too crazy that it's going to be annoying for the listener to listen to. Pronunciations, that kind of thing, so I can remember. I do a quick little easy thing, and that's a separate file that I keep. If it's a series, then I keep one for the whole series because then I can just have a quick reference for character names. And then I do like room tone. So if there's some sort of noise or something I need to take a section out, I can do that on my own. So I kind of do like quick little edits as I'm going along.
wow. So it
I
sounds
know.
it
Yeah.
sounds like it benefits you when the author hires you for the whole series because that's less individual prep?
Sometimes. I mean, it really depends on what the series is. Some people want a different voice for each character. So it depends. If it's the series and it's the same 2 characters, I think
Sure.
it would be very jarring to
Yeah.
have a different narrator, which has happened.
Yeah, I
Sometimes
don't wanna
I
name
step in
names, but
happens all the time for various reasons. That narrator isn't available. The fans didn't like that narrator. I've had to step in sometimes to those series, and I didn't realize what the bad backlash would be because my
Yes,
interpretation is never going to be the same
of
as the
course.
previous people. And so, there's just no right answer in that. And I just hope people have a little grace when they're disparaging in their comments because we're all sensitive people. Um,
Yeah,
but so, sometimes that's the case, and then sometimes, like in your series, it's like the same world, but like, different people are finding their love stories, and so they're the characters that have, been in and out of the books, and so I can understand why you would wanna keep the same voice to do those because they're inhabiting that world, but sometimes people want somebody totally different, so it
yeah.
it depends. It's whatever the author or whoever's hiring me wants to do with the series. So I've done all of them. I've done one in a series of I don't know how many, and then also full series and things like that.
Well, I'll tell you, when I first was speaking with Joe Arden of Blue Nose
Yeah,
Audio about this series, I was like, well, I need one set of actors for the young
yeah,
people, and then I'm going to need different people for the older adults. And Joe
yeah.
was like, why don't you just let me show you what these actors do? And I was like,
Yeah,
I don't know, Joe, I'm very nervous. Nobody could possibly be 22 and 50. And oh my God, like when I heard the files from you and Tom
yeah,
for book
yeah.
3 in the series, I was blown away. You were the same people. You had just been, like, 25, and then there you were being 50. It was amazing.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I think that right, that's our job. First of all, Blue Nose Audio, shout out to them because they're so fantastic. They hire me quite a bit. They're wonderful to work with. They really understand the medium. They understand the author side, they understand the narrator side, they understand the production side. Like they get the whole thing to recognize what it is that you might want, even though you don't know what you want, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know. How would you know? And so no, they're fantastic for that. And I think it's also like a level of security that the same voice is taking you through all those stories. And it provides me obviously acting challenges. So I'm invested, right? Because I'm interpreting the work and then elevating the work. That's my job. So that keeps me excited. So I feel like it's a win all around. So I'm thrilled to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah. So, next question.
Yes.
How do you do anything particular to prepare for the spicy scenes? Because you do a lot of
No,
spicy scenes.
I do a lot of spicy scene. I love a spicy scene. Who doesn't love a spicy scene? Everybody loves this. That's why we're here.
Right.
No, I feel like my whole job is to come into this room, leave all my stress. Sometimes I'm better at that than other days, but like to leave my outside world and my personal life and all those things outside the door and to be fully present and in the moment so that I can go where the story takes me. And if the author, which they do, does their job writing it to get me there, I'm along for the ride. Like I'm there with my characters as they're experiencing the things that they're experiencing. So my spicy scenes are different every time because it's the same it's not the same because I'm in a different story, I'm in a different place, I'm in a different struggle where they've been, you know?
Yeah.
So, that's that's the beauty of that part. So, I mean, no, you're just leaving behind judgment, that's a big thing. Leaving behind any sort of idea of where you think the story should go or how it could go or anything and just taking one sentence and then the next one and then the next one and then if you just got through something and then you can take a pause. They would take a pause.
Yeah.
They would laugh. You can laugh. All those this sort of permission structure to like be there for how it is. If something silly happens, let it be silly. If it's something really serious and vulnerable happens, let that be serious and vulnerable and let those moments happen as they would organically.
I love hearing you describe it that way because I hope that is also the experience people have reading or
Yeah.
listening to the story, just, like, swept away.
Yeah, that's what I hope too. And humor, your books have so much humor. I
Oh,
feel like yeah, I think that like I mean, I've told you that before, but I think that like the organic nature of how life goes is it's not just one thing. It's all the things all the time happening
all of
simultaneously.
them.
And you're sometimes all of it. You're sometimes filled with like five emotions at the same time or more that you can't even name. And you're trying to like piece apart the things that are happening and you're just sort of overwhelmed by the experience. And that's kind of what I'm doing when I'm narrating. I'm full of all of those things as well. And my acting teacher was like, you don't have to be the emotion that you're playing, you just have to be alive. Like your body has to be like awake and aware and when because I know a lot of actors use that word present and I'm not sure that everybody knows exactly what that means, but like you have to be in this moment taking the conversation of what you're saying. I have to take it in. I have to give you back my emotion, and then I have to be ready for where that takes us to the next step. So I can't be thinking about what's going to happen 5 steps from now. And sometimes I'm thinking about what happened a little while ago because that's going to inform how I'm thinking about right now. So sometimes I can have like one sort of eye or thought in the past to be where I am now to tell you what I'm going to say now. Does that make sense? Those are all those like intangible things about how an actor's brain works. So you've got to take all this information in to then release it, but not be thinking about how you think it might go or how it might be in the future or where it might lead. Or if I say it this way, it's going to then make it sound like this, because then that doesn't sound authentic. It sounds forced. It doesn't sound like it's coming from an organic place of how the conversation would go. Does that make sense?
I think it does, and because I feel a similar way when I'm writing the stories, except
Yeah.
I get to, like, put all my crap over in the margin and and not have that be experienced in real time, so I get to be a little bit more private about it.
Yeah, yeah, but the exact same idea, like, it's not gonna f if it doesn't sound or feel authentic, like, that character didn't earn that part. Um, you hear it or you understand it, and I'm not saying that we're all perfect all the time, right? Because we're artists, we're constantly evolving our art. Every time you write, you get a little bit better. Every time I narrate, I get a little bit better. And I'm not sure you could point to something and be like, "Oh, that's better than that one," or something. It's just a feeling that you're just much more connected to the work itself, and that's kind of what happens.
Yeah. Circle back question.
Yes,
The Brady series that you
yes,
narrated for me, there are a lot of
yes.
scenes in that story. Mick Brady in particular is always eating pistachios. Have you had a little bit more time to decide your favorite snack?
Oh! Bringing it back to the snacks. Okay, well, we talked about potato chips. Um,
And Trader Joe pretzels.
and Trader Joe pretzels. I mean, Trader Joe's is known for snacks. I will tell you, so I have a daughter, she's 3, and it is not unheard of that her snacks go missing. She has this, have you have you gotten this, they're so addictive. Solely, have you heard of this company? It's like supposed to be like solely one ingredient kind of thing, I think was the genesis of the name. Anyway, they do these gummies. They taste like Starburst. They started with mango. They do a mango guava and they're little gummies. I am addicted to those. I can stick like all of them in my mouth. They taste like
Ah,
Starburst. They are so yum. I am definitely addicted to those.
I'm gonna go find them.
Yeah, they're really, really, really good. They have 3 flavors. They have, like, a mango, they have a mango orange, and then they have a mango guava. I love a guava. So
Mm.
good. That is definitely a snack I like. So
Um,
salty, a
yeah,
little sweet. I can kinda do those combos. Yeah.
love it. Are you allowed to tell us what you're working on now?
It's a great question. Probably not, but I think I'll do it anyway.
Ooh,
I am doing well, let me see. Let me actually look up my calendar. Honestly, I kind of don't know. Sometimes I get cast, if you can believe it, like through like next December.
really?
Yes. So I have right now I'm doing this is a first time author for me. I've never worked with her before. Allison Rhymes. Have you heard of her? I'm doing a book by her.
Okay.
Never heard or met her before. I have I have a Rayanne Fain coming up next week.
Ooh.
I do a lot for her. I really love her writing. She and Michelle Major, I met them actually at Readers Take Denver, which they were a big reason why I wanted to go to that event, was
Yeah,
because I've done probably like 30 titles between the 2 of them, if not
I'm
more.
going to Denver
Yeah.
next year. I'm, like, real
You
excited.
are?
Yeah.
I haven't decided yet if I'm going to go because I've now started getting invited to a lot of things, so I'm on the fence about whether or not. But we have
No,
the not for anything other than my dance card is getting full. And they
as
are
it should
so
be.
as it should be. And they are so hold on, I'm gonna close this for 1 second. Okay, yeah, it's okay. They are sorry, I'll just close it. My the best day of my whole life, somebody who comes to clean your home. She's just asking me a question. She doesn't know that I'm doing this. Sorry
Working.
about that. Working. Um uh I First of all,
Dance card
Denver
full.
was
Yeah.
way awesome, way more awesome than I could have expected. The food was outstanding. The people that were there, it was an incredible experience. I had a signing table with Maxine Mitchell, one of my besties, and
Oh,
we just brought the party. Yeah, we had so much fun. I met so many great authors. Um, anyway, so the two of them were a big reason why I wanted to go. What else do I have coming up? What did I just finish? Oh my God, I can't even remember.
well, you had a Chloe Lisa book come out last week.
I Oh, did it come out last week? Because
Yeah.
you narrate and then it goes. I love her so much, Bergman Brothers. You guys have a lot of things that are, I think I told you this before. You have like an essence of things that feel very like they're part of the same.
Well, that is a wonderful
Yeah.
compliment.
She's awesome. I loved another very similar experience to narrate different members of the same family and bring their love stories. So very similar challenges. Like you have to keep some of the voices the same, but also not because that's hard to listen to if you're doing, sort of a more affected voice kind of thing. So yeah, no, that was Ziggy's book. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, Ziggy and Sebastian.
yeah.
Um, well, I wanna be real respectful of your time
I appreciate that.
and your
Thank you.
vocal
Yes.
health. Where can people find you if they wanna look for you on the internet or socials?
So I'm trying to bring as much as I can to Instagram because it seems to be the one that everybody is on or doesn't have too
It's
extreme
my
views
favorite.
about. Yeah.
Right.
And they've gotten so much better with the reels and all that stuff. So I'm C Rob's BK, and I, try and do as much promotion as I can, talk about the authors that I love. There's a lot of baking on there because I bake a lot, and just a lot of upcoming things, places where I'm going to be signing. I'm going to be at Book Bonanza this June. So I'm very excited about that. There's going to be a lot of amazing, Chloe will be there. So I'm excited. I'll get to meet her in person along with a lot of other authors that I've narrated for. So that's always really special because we never get to meet in person.
No. Um, well, that was kind of everything, and I just
Oh,
want to throw in a thank you for all of the backers who brought the Kickstarter to life and helped augment the audio production of the series, which I am just so pleased that it exists on audio and
me
that
too.
it's done by such wonderful actors.
Yeah, and I hope you're are you writing? What are you doing now? Where are you in your what's next?
Yeah, so there's a series after the Bradys, the Foof ladies each get a book.
I
Um,
figured you said it.
yeah,
I wasn't sure where they were going to all wind up, but they started becoming more and more present as the books continued, and their personalities started becoming more specific and like it felt for me like an opportunity to really like dive deeper into their voices and their characters, right? So it felt like that's the genesis of where things are going. So if you had asked me, that's what I was gonna
yeah.
hope that they were gonna each
Well,
get their stories.
I have an agent for subrights now, and so Bookends is actually shopping the Bridges and Bitters ladies away. So, yeah,
Congratulations.
thank
Very
you.
exciting.
Thank
Very
you very
exciting.
much. Yeah,
I'll be excited to find out what their stories are.
I will be excited to listen to people, and choose narrators for them. All right. I'm
Understood.
gonna go ahead and end the
Okay,
broadcast,
great.
and